Hello students, today we will proceed with unit 1.3 the pilgrim poem. Now who is a pilgrim? A pilgrim is a person who travels to a sacred place or a holy place for religious reasons. And the poet who has written this is anonymous to us. Now who is anonymous? Anonymous means we do not know who has written this poem. So the title of the poem is The Pilgrim. The poet is anonymous. This is an inspiring and a touching poem with a strong message. It tells us about an old man who is very unselfish. After he has crossed a deep ravine, he stops to build a bridge to help an young man who is coming behind along the same path. Though the old man knows that he may never have a chance to use the bridge again in his life, he still manages to build a bridge. This shows how selfless and caring he is. So with this introduction, we will proceed with the recitation of the poem. The Pilgrim. A pilgrim going a lone highway came at evening cold and grey to a chasm deep and vast and wide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The chasm held no fear for him. But he paused when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, why waste your time in building here? Your journey ends with the close of the day. You never again will pass this way. You have crossed the chasm, deep and wide. Why build ye here at even time? The pilgrim raised his old grey head. My friend, in the path I have come, he said, there followeth after me today a fair-haired youth who must pass this way. The chasm, which held no fears for me, to the fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. My friend, I am building this bridge for him. Children, now coming to the explanation of this poem, we will begin with the first stanza. In the first stanza, we see a lonely pilgrim who is walking along the highway in a very cold and dark evening, and he is very old and weak. When he comes walking, he sees a deep chasm which is very broad. Now, what is a chasm? Chasm means a very deep and a steep gap or an opening in the earth's surface. As he was fearless, he crosses the chasm and reaches the other side. But just imagine us, if something is really deep, it is really very problematic for us to cross. Why? We are all very afraid. But this old man, because he was fearless, he is able to cross and reach the other side of the chasm. But he does not continue the journey once he has reached the other side. He pauses or stops at that place and completes building a bridge across the chasm or the ravine. So now he has built a bridge and the bridge is now ready for anyone's use. Now we will proceed with the second stanza explanation. In the second stanza, another pilgrim who must have travelled in the same route is asking the old man why he is taking the efforts of building a bridge, that too at late evening when there is hardly any light. He even asked the old man why he is painstakingly building a bridge which he might never use. As the first pilgrim is very old, the fellow pilgrim is very sure that the old man will never come over to this place any time again in his life. For this, the old man replies in the third stanza, telling he has managed to cross the path even though it was dangerous, but he has built the bridge for a young man who was coming way behind him at a distance. The young man too needs to cross this chasm at this twilight where there is only a dim light, which makes it very difficult or a difficult task, dangerous task for this frightful young person. So trying to help him, the old man has taken the pain of building this bridge. Children, in this poem, the poet metaphorically tells how the older generation has taken upon itself the responsibility to guide and protect the younger generation. Children, don't you think how unselfish the old man has been? He has crossed the way, but he has stopped and painfully made a bridge. And for whom has he made the bridge? Not for himself, for the young person who was following him behind at a distance. Don't you think he has really helped the young man? Of course, he has helped the young man. And you think only this young man is going to use the bridge in future? Everyone, whoever has been taking this passage for a pilgrimage will of course use this bridge, and this bridge is going to be helpful and useful for whoever goes that way to the holy place. So with this we will conclude the explanation. Children, the theme of the poem is that people should help others with selflessness and kindness. And how is the tone of this poem? How is it? It is very serious and thought-provoking. What is it? What is the meaning of thought-provoking? Which will make you think. And how is the structure of the poem? The structure of the stanzas, each and every stanza, all the 3 stanzas are unequal. The first stanza is of 7 verses. Verses means the lines over here. The second stanza is of 6 verses. And the third one is of 8 verses. And there are different figures of speech that have been used here. It has inversion, tautology, personification, interrogation, etc. And when you write your appreciation, you will always have to begin with the name of the poem, the author of the poem, the theme of the poem, the tone of the poem, and the figures of speech that have been used, and then why you like this poem. So here you can tell you like this poem very much because it gives a very clear message that people should be selfless in their thoughts and be of use to others. We should be very useful in our life, and we should be a good guide to others in our life. Children, now coming to the figures of speech in this poem. Come to the first line of the first stanza, a pilgrim going lone highway. Okay, so who is going here alone? The pilgrim is going alone. But what is told? The highway is lone. Can an inanimate object be alone? Can it feel that it is alone? It cannot be. So here it is a transferred epithet. The pilgrim is alone, but the quality of being alone is given to an inanimate object. Children, I think I made a mistake here. We will just go through this line again. First stanza, the first line, a pilgrim going a lone highway. The figure of speech used here is transferred epithet, which means the loneliness of the pilgrim is transferred to an inanimate object, highway. Highway is the path or the road. Can the road or a path be really feeling alone? No, it is the pilgrim who feels alone. So the feeling of the pilgrim is transferred to the highway. So here the figure of speech transferred epithet is used for a better poetic effect. The poet wants to give a better effect to his poem, so that is why he has used the figure of speech transferred epithet. And then coming to tautology. Now what is tautology? Tautology means 2 or more words in the same line which conveys the same meaning. So here in the first stanza, he is using the figure of speech tautology in to a chasm, deep and vast and wide. The third line in the first stanza, Vast and wide means the same. They both mean they are quite broad. Okay. So same meaning but two different words when they are placed in one single verse of a poem in a stanza, we call it as a tautology. And there is one more tautology in the poem. In the third stanza, it is, he too must cross in twilight dim. Now, what is the twilight? The twilight is a time when the sun is setting and the moon is rising. And when the sun is setting, children, you know very well, it is going to be very dull light. And before the moon rises, it is really still very gray and with very little light. And dim here also means very little light. So again, twilight dim again means the same. The two words mean the same. And so again, he too must cross in twilight dim is again the tautology. And then coming to personification. In the first stanza, we come to the fifth verse, which says the chasm held no fear for him. What is a chasm? Chasm means the ravine, which is a very deep, steep gap in the earth's surface. You cannot tell the chasm is afraid. Who is afraid? The old man, being a person, he should be afraid of something. But here, the quality of being afraid is given to an inanimate object, chasm. Able to understand? It is people, we people who have the quality of being frightful. We are only afraid of something. We are only frightened of something. But here, the inanimate chasm is given the human quality of being afraid. So, that is personification. Then, coming to interrogation. Now, what is interrogation? In the second stanza, here the second line and the last line of the second stanza, we have question mark. Okay, these are interrogatives or interrogation in as the figures of speech. And what is interrogation? Interrogation here is a figure of speech, and you can also call it as a rhetorical question. Now, what is a rhetorical question? Rhetorical questions don't need any answer. A child wearing a uniform, carrying a school bag, coming from school, somebody is asking, are you coming from school? We know very well the child is coming from school because the child carries his school bag, the child is in his uniform. We know very well it is a question which actually we don't have to answer these questions. So these are rhetorical questions. Rhetorical question means it is just asked for a dramatic effect. You don't have to give an answer. Okay. So rhetorical questions or interrogations are figures of speech where nothing great is being conveyed, but it is just giving a extra dramatic effect to the verse. So what are the two rhetorical questions in this paragraph? Why waste your time in building here? And the other one is, why build you here at even tide? So these two are the rhetorical questions. Children, in this third stanza, the first line again, the pilgrim raised his old grey head. Here, the pilgrim is old, but what does it say? The pilgrim is old and tired, but it tells that the head is old and grey and tired. Okay, so the quality of being old and tired is transferred from the pilgrim to the word head. So again, it is transferred epithet over here. The rhyme scheme of the first stanza is A, B, C, C, D, D. Children, you will have to write the rhyme scheme always in small letters, and it should be together without any commas or full stops in between. So how will you write? The rhyme scheme of the first stanza is A, B, C, C, D, D. Then the rhyme scheme of the second stanza. The rhyme scheme of the second stanza is A, B, B, C, C. Again, all this in small letters. So what is the rhyme scheme of the second stanza? AA, BB, CC. The rhyme scheme of the third stanza is AA, BB, CC, DD. Again, I am repeating all small alphabets. AA, BB, CC, DD. Children, when you write this, it should be together. There should be no gap in between these rhyme scheme letters. Again, I am repeating, it is AA, BB, CC, DD. So with this, we are coming to the close of this lesson or this poem. Hope you have understood whatever is being taught today. If you have got any doubts, please post personally to me. Thank you, children.